Da-da-da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes to get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And if you look behind me, you're going to have to live with this for 2 weeks in my live shows, in my podcast, because I am getting ready for a trip. It is the reward for the work that I've put into my year. Now, I am in the midst of doing some explore videos, putting some content out there in that brand that is included partly by exploring the outside, exploring what calms my system down, what brings me joy, what brings me happiness. But if I explored what brought me happiness constantly, I don't believe that I would be of service to others. And I want to make sure that my life brings value. Those experiences that I've had bring value, right? We talked yesterday how accomplishing, right, brings me happiness. And we talked the day before yesterday about how what I bring to the table, how that accomplishment, how I feel about myself. Being a highly sensitive and being empath, I understand how I feel about myself is directly brought about in how others feel about me, how they think about me, right? That curiosity to want to hang out with me as I, right, play this out to the best of my ability. And I kind of want to look at it that way. I really do. Some of the content being suggested to me in that little bit of movement forward, it's a little bit heavier, right? That smile on my face is so important in this process for me, right? I do not want to lose that lust for life, that love for life, that happiness in that life that sometimes is kicking me in the butt, is punching me in the forehead, or swiping me up the side of the forehead. I use that term or analogy lots in this sharing, right? And that's what I'm doing, is sharing, and that's what I've been doing since day one. But as I expand, what I'm sharing is being expanded too, and that's the truth. So I thought today we kind of take a look at this word happiness, because we are expanding. Who I am today is not who I was yesterday, and who I was yesterday is not the person I was last year, right? Those are the past, that's the history. But a lot of our movement forward is being done without truly taking in the lessons from yesterday, right? They were lessons, and we got through it. Whew! We got through it. It's done. We don't have to look back at that. But we're going to carry that residue. We're going to carry what we didn't resolve, the lessons we didn't take in, right? Because sometimes those lessons are hard lessons, right? Sometimes we just, like I said, just go, whew, we're done with that. Next, right? We're never going back to that again. Next. And we're going into the same lesson. We're going into the same lesson, but it's just being presented to us a little bit differently. In doing baby steps, it gives us the opportunity to complete the task, to say, hey, I didn't do a good job at that, right? Let's just willingly go back into it, take another shot at it, see what I got wrong, and maybe do a little bit better by it this time. and then truly complete the lesson and be able to give yourself a high five. Here it comes, right? And the reward for doing a good job, for not giving up, for not saying good enough, right? For actually getting the job done. I was brought up on the reward and punishment. I was, and I get it, and some parts of me truly believe in that, right? And I want to move into this because it's a good way to look at happiness in the struggle of it, right? In completing the lessons and saying congratulations, here's the reward. In right for me, it's this trip, right? My hard work that I put in the last year, a lot of it sharing here on my platform every day. A lot of it too, just in that movement for myself. Or sometimes it's in not completing that lesson, getting some lessons in it, but not completing it, not getting the stamp of approval, not getting the pass, right? Sometimes it's not getting the lessons at all, and I just naturally fall into that same lesson all over again, being presented to me in a different way, right? And so grateful a lot of that, right, is not being presented to the table, that some part of me recognizes I did a boo-boo, I didn't complete, I gotta fail. And so, right, it's not about beating myself up. It's not about coming to these platforms and saying, bad Cindy. Here, you guys, look at Cindy the failure, Cindy the loser, right? But kind of look at Cindy. She's at right. She's at that ground one again. She's doing it again. She's giving it another shot. She's not given up. She recognizes she didn't get something quite right. Here she goes again. And it's in that admiration. The audience, right? It's the audience, and that audience is giving me that steam to try, right? That saying, Cindy, I don't know if I could go on those trips all by myself. Are you going to have fun, right? Yes, I'm going to have fun. People all the time. In this season of my life right now is the best opportunity for me to find husband number two. Guaranteed. I have created something magnificent. When people hear about this trip that I'm taking, their eyes butt open, and the first thing that comes out of their mouths is, "And you're not afraid to go by yourself?" Kind of like, right? And you know that if you stay in the conversation, they'll just say, "Hey, can I come along?" Right? And the answer, right? I have these walls. I've set up these boundaries, right? This holiday is my reward for staying in the game. I need that, right? So, mindset, right? And entrepreneurship offers me up that opportunity when I don't have all the answers, when I don't have the full story, when I find myself back at ground one, that I can accept that, because in mindset, they accept that some of the biggest lessons that we get in our lives, I can just be one failure behind that crack opening up and everything being revealed to me, and I'm right sitting in prime spot where nobody ever believed that I could actually achieve, let alone even dream up. And there I could be. Or in this moment, I could say, I just can't do one more step. Forget this. Right? It's never going to happen. Right? Sometimes you have to go just on pure faith that it's going to happen. Really, you do. Lots of us, especially in this day and age, we're born with that golden spoon in our mouth, and if we aren't, we quickly learn how to achieve getting that golden spoon stuffed in our mouths. And a lot of times when I say that, I'm just saying, right? When you learn that, you're learning at somebody else's expense, right? Or sometimes, if it's properly divvied out in the lessons, at your own expense, and you find yourself at ground one again. One of the first things I woke up to is, right? We don't take energy, we give energy, right? I didn't quite understand it when I understood it. I said, okay. But in the movement forward, as you, right, complete one lesson and you move on to the next and things kind of unveil and you go, oh my goodness, that's what that meant. And I could have easily stalled out in just one lesson before having that lesson, and I could have quitted myself because, right, I wasn't understanding what it was all about. So the past couple of days we've been talking about, um, right, happiness. And for me, happiness is in the achievement in those goals that I set out for myself. That achievement of filling the space in between being bored and doing nothing and doing something doing something in using that time that's allotted to me in my day to make some movement, right? Or that time that's allotted to me in that day, and I have to make movement. Like, I can't let it go to waste, right? Grateful for that job that puts the roof over my head. Is it in my goals? Is it the end game for me? Do I see myself at the end of my career knowing that that was what I took with me right to the end of the career? No, right? As we move forward, those dreams get bigger and we make small adjustments in it if we've already pivoted into what makes us happy. Then it's just these, right, slight tweaks along the way, getting yourself better positioned, setting yourself up for what you want. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And I don't necessarily bring all of that to my lives, to my podcasts, but it's in my life. But because we're in this topic of what makes me happy, or the topic of what makes us happy, or what should makes us happy, right? That it is just an achievement of what makes you happy, right? I love accomplishing, right? I really do. It's my nature. It's in my programming, and I'm making use out of it. But I understand, right? Those other parts of me have to be able to expand in that too, in anything that I'm doing. Cindy's here, right? Cindy's here doing her thing. But I could be standing on my head upside down, up against the wall, doing splits, right? It's, what do I want to bring to the table? I want to make some movement for myself. And I understand in making movement for myself, it's going to entail that other people are going to be making some movement also. So, do I want to be standing on my head, right? Up against the wall? No, I'm going to bring something of value to the table. Understanding I'm coming to the table and, right, to show myself well, right? I have to. I have to show myself well. I understand that. I get that. And because I do, those other parts of me get to show up too and do their thing. What they're doing, I don't know. My imagination can go off places and possibly even be there myself. But do I have to? Right? I'm creating the best human being I possibly can. Right? Those other parts of me, I suspect if I do this well, that maybe I'll get to sit and bring something to that part of the table. But I'm on this side in this moment. And so, right, as much as those other parts of me are hard at work, right, I'd like to think that in my own way and in my own fashion of what I do, right, that I'm bringing something to the table too. And that makes me happy. Why? Because I feel like I'm accomplishing, right? I feel like I'm earning that reward at the end of the stick, which is my holiday, right? And I'm not asking for very much, am I? For lots of people, that would be pocket change for what I'm doing. That would be pocket change. But it makes me happy because I'm chasing freedom, right? Happiness, my freedom to make my own choices, to decide for myself what makes me happy, right? And what makes me happy is that calmness to my system, to that accomplishment of that amalgamation and that assimilation that I am not always there, right? You guys see me dancing around subjects and stuff, but I am showing up and I can see for myself that I'm getting better and better every day, right? So we are still on this topic of accomplishment, and maybe I'm stressing that feeling because I'm hoping that others might pick up that idea and set some goals or go off by themselves and really decide what makes you happy. What were all parts of you where you just feel content, not so much content. There has to be a struggle because we learn in the problems and in the struggles and in the hiccups. But maybe you're not really good at what you would love to be doing. And maybe the struggle can be in that, right? And there's some food for thought. We're doing almost the same perspective on a word happiness. That says something. That's pretty important, I think. It's something to take note of. And when I come back and watch my live again, I'm going to take note of that. I might even chew on it. We still have a couple of days, don't we? Oh, we have tomorrow. One more day on this word happiness, our 54th word, our very last word in this project that we've been doing for over a year now, right? It's not complete. There's still quite a bit to get done, but this phase is complete, and the content and what I'm going to bring to the table in the week before I leave on this trip, right? It's going to be the beginning of a little bit of an adjustment, a little tweak in well, this movement called Cindy and the curiosity of what she's gonna bring to the table. Sometimes I don't even know. I have inklings, I have dreams, I have goals, I set them out and I work towards them, right? Having these little bits of breaks in between to reward myself, right? For sticking with it, for never giving up at the very least. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer. We'll be back tomorrow. Um, yeah, happy to go to work now. You guys, I got a thumbnail to make and a bus to catch, and off I go. Take care.